Patio Harroscope, Wednesday night edition of your program. We are glad to be with you tonight, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is where you go. Go to MyBookie.ag, get in and play today. Use the promo code PATIO. PATIO is the promo code. Use that promo code. You're going to get some cash back money. I've got your lock of the week to play on MyBookie coming up here in the game for week zero. Week zero, go to mybookie.ag, get in and play today. Jake, we're really glad to be with you. It has been a busy day so far. As let me make sure I've got everything teed up here. Let's see. That's fine. And make sure. All right, so we're ready to go. Ready to go. We got two great guests coming up tonight. Rafael Esparza, who was part of mybookie.ag and VSL Doc Sports, will join us. We'll also get into some high school football tonight. We got great matchups coming up on Friday. And then Brad Logan with the Logan Media Network will join us coming around 8:25. Rafael Esparza here in about 4 minutes. We got great high school football matchups we'll get to here as well. So we got a busy show. I've already done two coaches shows today. Hines Community College, Chris Jones, also Eugene Clinton, Brandon did a 2-hour radio show. We're firing on all cylinders. It's like mid-season form right now. As tomorrow we got Hines football. We got Brandon football as well coming up on Friday. So we'll get right to it. Biggest news so far of the afternoon, and let's get some notes real quickly here. Biggest news so far of the afternoon is everything going on with the NCAA. And, of course, when you look at the NFL, both with joint statements saying, hey, basically this, the Big Ten is on board. Notre Dame is on board. The SEC is on board. No pro players are coming back to college football. Also, Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti has received a 5-year contract extension that will run through 2023. Josh Pate has released his college football playoff predictions on On3 and ESPN. He has the University of Miami winning the college football playoff over Oregon. His Final Four, Texas and Oregon on one side of the bracket, Notre Dame and Miami on the other side of the bracket. That's where our good friend Josh Pate has the college football playoff. Also, LSU today in a vote for the SEC. They abstained from a Wednesday's vote. It was 15-0. President's votes and athletics directors voted to confirm penalties for the NFL returnee ban, ESPN reports. LSU said, hey, we're not interested. We're not voting on this, and we are out of this. And, of course, I want you to make sure you follow us on all platforms, facebook.com/Jake Wimberly, on X @JakeWim. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Just search Jake Wimberly as well. Again, Rafael Esparza will join us here momentarily. High school football coming up this weekend. We'll jump into a couple matchups while we're out on Esparza. You got Brandon taking on Tupelo coming up this weekend. Number 11, Brandon, courtesy of Mississippi Gridiron, and our friend Chris Brooks, number 1, Tupelo. You've got players all over the field. It's going to be on the blue turf in Tupelo. Brandon Shields picks Tupelo to win 28-21. I think this is going to be a phenomenal football game. These two teams have played twice over the last year and a half, once for the state championship at the end of 24, and then last year to start the season. I think you're going to see a highly competitive 4-quarter ball game. You also got number 9 Starkville traveling down to Oak Grove, as you've got Brett Morgan, first-year head coach at Starkville, comes over from West Point. They'll be taking on Oak Grove and Drew Causey's team. Brandon Shields picks Oak Grove to win 35-28. I think, again, you've got another great close 4th-quarter ball game. And then you've got Gulfport taking on Picayune this weekend, number 4 on Mississippi Gridiron's rankings, taking on number 12 Picayune. Shields has Gulfport to win 38-24. They're breaking in a new quarterback. They've got a new running back room. They've got a lot going on there. Picayune expects to make a return there in South State as well. Right now, we got Rafael Esparza, as you can find him at VSL Doc Sports on our screen. Esparza, happy Wednesday, sir.
Happy Wednesday to you. I loved you when you talked a little high school football, because don't forget, I used to do high school football betting odds back in the day. So it's fun to hear all the stuff about that. But what, really, Picayune? Come on, man, they should easily win.
Yeah, you would think that they should. Hey, I know high school football is huge here at Mississippi. It's huge in your state of Louisiana. How is it out west? I know California is big. What about Nevada? Some of those other states in between Texas and the coastline?
Well, the Vegas, like Bishop Gorman and Durango, Bishop Gorman is pretty much owned by the Fertittas, pretty much. If you don't know who the Fertittas are, just Google them. They pretty much built the Palms Casino, Red Rock Casino, owned Sacramento Kings at one point. But it's kind of interesting how big as the top football teams, they play their high school teams, but they travel. They go to California, they go to Hawaii and all that. They those football programs are prepping these kids for Ohio State and Notre Dame and stuff like that. So they could care less of who they're playing in their state rivals. It's always about, oh, who's coming to their backyard. Because I know Bishop Gorman has one of the top Miami, Florida schools coming in 2 weeks. That's what they prepare for. They could care less about who they're playing for their state.
All right. So earlier today, the NFL, along with the SEC and the Big Ten and Notre Dame, have all said, hey, college players can't come back. LSU, the one team, they abstained from the vote with the SEC when the SEC presidents and athletics directors voted on it. We will get to some week 0 matchups and get your thoughts on that. But first off, the college football circus looks like the conferences are trying to battle this back. But LSU, several of their players with their, I guess legal teams have said, hey, we're going to hold the NCAA in contempt of court. We're going to sue the SEC. We're going to sue the Big Ten. Here come the more lawsuits.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, first of all, the NCAA should have stepped in a long time ago, and third of all, it's the parents and the agents and all that. Come on, people! If you sign a contract in the NFL, I don't care if it's a practice squad or you left to go to the NFL, you're done. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You missed out on the NIL money because someone told you were good enough to make an NFL team. Someone told you you're good enough to start an NFL team. Too bad you weren't. Too bad, too sad. You know what we call that? We call that gambling. You gambled on yourself and you lost.
No, I agree. Miko on Facebook says, hey, he's heard you for years on our shows. He said your face actually matches your voice. He says, but he loves your content, loves what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
that's kind of funny. My voice matches my look. So that's kind of.
All right, let's get into it. We got week 0 coming up. How excited are you for week 0?
I am. I mean, because I'm more interested in some of these blowout games. Like, I'm not saying San Jose State's gonna beat USC, but their team totals 8.5 for San Jose State, and I'm not gonna butcher the former Navy head coach. That was Navy. This is his second year at San Jose State. Last year, he was pass happy, and if you watch him at Navy, all they did was run the ball. So that his first year in San Jose State, he's pass happy. But now they have a good running back team in Tantrum. So if they can run the ball, maybe put some pressure on USC's defense early, I think they could score 9-10 points. I'm not saying they're going to beat USC. It's probably going to be like 58-10. But I really want to see how San Jose State, because they're supposed to be in the basement of the Mountain West. But I think they can get out of it. And I think Northern Illinois, I said that Northern Illinois is in the Mountain West. They're going to be in the basement.
Hey, it looks like money is really coming in on TCU. This line is now grown to 9.
It's funny. It's last week. What did I tell you when we were talking about this? It was 7 and 7.5 last week. I said, get it, because it's going to be 10 by kickoff, and it might be 10 by tomorrow. So I'm a little bit shocked at how much money has come in already, because last time I checked, it's only Wednesday. Last time I checked, we still have till Saturday to play this game. So if it goes past double digits, we might have to take a shot at North Carolina. I think their defense is going to be a little bit improved. I don't think they're going to be a big circus like last year. I think they have some athletes that can probably play, and TCU has a lot of questions coming in this year. So if it keeps on climbing, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm actually going to look to maybe play North Carolina if I can get a good double-digit number.
Hey, do you think Bill Belichick makes it through this year? What does he got to do to make it?
It doesn't matter. I think he makes it no matter what, and then they cut ties with him after the season. What's the point of okay, you lose your first 3-4 games? What's the point of getting rid of you? I mean, when they can just get rid of you, if they let Dabo Sweeney still stick around when they could have fired him already because he refuses to play the college football game right now, I think Belichick's going to be okay.
Hey, you mentioned USC. Looking at the shop I'm at, 39.5 right there against San Jose State. That's a 2:00 kickoff on Saturday. What do you look for in a game? I mean, well, first off, do you even play this game, or do you just kind of just watch it and let's just see how USC looks?
I mean, when it was 35.5 when it opened up, I would have played it, but now it's 38.5, and there's a 39. I think I saw a BetMGM a couple days ago, or I'm sorry, a couple hours ago. So I can't believe I'm going to say that. I still think there's value with USC because I think USC still has a chip on their shoulder because everyone's talking about Ohio State, everyone's talking about Oregon. Everyone's talking about Penn State and Indiana. Hey, we're still here in the Big Ten. So I think they might want to put a statement game and 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday.
Miko also asked who's the starting quarterback for North Carolina. I believe it's Billy Edwards. He's a transfer, from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Wisconsin doesn't throw the ball a whole lot.
Which scares me a little bit. But that's why. But if you're looking at North Carolina, they got out. Their defense was on the field a lot. So if you can run the ball and you can give your defense a little breaks, I think that could help North Carolina's defense. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with this kid in Wisconsin. Now I don't think I'm going to be impressed with him in North Carolina.
Hey, you got a fairly intriguing ACC kick on 2:30. NC State at Virginia. Virginia played for the ACC title last year against Duke. Virginia -4. This one, the total sitting there around 53. This feels like a game where maybe you take. Let me ask this: college football overs and unders or totals. What do we see trends typically? I mean, I know it's across the board, but where the NFL, we know typically. I believe I'm right on this. Unders are going to hit earlier because of defensive play. What about college football?
It's a little bit the same. I mean, I think we all know defense is probably a little bit ahead of the game. I mean, because quarterbacks have so many new faces at wide receiver, at running backs, and stuff like defense. You're pretty much running the same either scheme on that. Yeah, there's new faces on there, but you're just running a scheme. You don't have the ball. So I think defense is sometimes a little bit of ahead. There's some games I think we see some totals going over, and there's a lot of games I see screaming under in this matchup. This UVA game, it's finally coming to the number that I thought it was going to be. I made this number like a solid 3.5 over the summer. I'm talking like probably early June and all that. And they opened up at 2.5. I'm thinking, wow, 2.5. That's a little bit too small for me. But now it's 3.5, 4 out there. I would think I don't see it going to 5. So I would still think there's value if you like UVA at 4. But if you like NC State, maybe see how high it does go and get the best points.
Hey, we got two newbies on the block at 4:30 and 5:30. North Dakota State preview or initial game in Division I at home against Jacksonville State. They're sitting around -7, and then Sacramento State. Man, I tell you what, this is an interesting story. They're a 10-point dog on what I'm looking at, 53.5 on the total on that game, 46.5 on the other. The money that Sacramento State has put into their program, just reading articles over the years. I mean, they've invested a lot of cash into this. Somebody is financing Sacramento State. They got a lot of money out there. So you got two newbies on the block Saturday.
I mean, North Dakota State, I think we all know who North Dakota State, if you watch D2, they have the greatest yellow helmets. I think we all know who they are. So I don't want to say newbie. They're new to this conference.
Well, D1s. How about that?
Yeah, D1. They're new to D1. But I think people don't know about the Cal State Sacramento programs and how much money they're putting in there. So I would highly invest in reading what you can about them. It's a very interesting story. Like North Dakota State, even though it's 7.5. Some money's been coming down on Jacksonville State. So if you can get a better number, which I do believe, I think you can probably get a 6.5 in this game.
Visit with Rafael Esparza, of course, talking sports betting. We got several games coming up here on Saturday for Week 0. Hawaii travels to Stanford. Stanford -3.5. That totals at 49. I did see where Hawaii, the biggest news for me on Hawaii is they've actually got the jersey patch. Hawaii Airlines has sponsored them.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. And you know what? I love rooting for Hawaii because their head coach was a huge fan of me. I remember sitting in this working behind the counters and watching Timmy Chang just fling the ball all over the place. So I'm a big fan of him. And I like who they have at quarterback. And I think they're going to put some points on the board. But man, Stanford, I think they're going to be really improved this year. I mean, I think what's the quarterback? Shit, I can't remember the quarterbacks for Indianapolis Colts, who's now the Andrew Luck. Now that he's there and kind of running the ship, I think they're going to have some new faces. Man, I really want to say take Hawaii, but I think this one goes all the way up to 4.5 and 5. So if you can get Hawaii at +5, I think it's going to be a lot closer when Shaq if it's a field goal type of game. But I do believe we see points in this game.
And, of course, Florida State is playing Saturday against New Mexico State, and they're a 31-point favorite. I think what you look for in something like this is just to see kind of how sharp Mike Norvell's team is because, Alabama's on the horizon coming up here in a few weeks. They've got some big ball games coming up.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this one because I think I forgot to email you this. I put out first head coach fired in college football, and you know who I had to put number 1, Mike Norvell at 3-1. But I really like Mike Locksley. I think I butchered his last name from Maryland. I think he might be the first one to go at 4-1. But I'm really going to be intrigued on watching Florida State because they're going to win this game. But how they win, I think, might tell us the story of what Florida State's season is going to be.
And of course, if you're going to stay up late, which I'm very intrigued by UNLV and Memphis, Dan Mullen, he's a coach that's going to be on everybody's radar, at least, when you're talking about guys that could come back into the Power Four. You got Memphis with a new head football coach. That should be a good ball game.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a little bit shocked that this total dropped. Opened up at 58.5. Now it's 56.5 because both teams love to run the ball. Both teams love to score. Both teams scored a lot last year. And I don't think we're going to see anything different this year. But yeah, take a nap. I know it's going to be, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in this one. This might be the best game on the board on Saturday just because the styles are both of them fit well. Both of them want to run. Both of them are going to want to score points. It's going to be very interesting what happens at the Death Star in Vegas late Saturday.
All right, let's pivot. NFL preseason. Do you even play? I mean, I know people do and will play this week coming up. I mean, this is what I call cut week coming up for the NFL teams. You've got a lot of starters that are going to sit. They're getting ready for week one. What do you advise for people that maybe want to dabble in preseason this coming up week?
The dog. The dogs have been dominating weeks 1 and weeks 2. I don't have the stats in front of me. I should have pulled that up. But yeah, the dogs have been dominating. The unders have been cashing pretty good as well. But now the unders are pretty much inflated because we all know not that many starters are going to play this week. Some totals opened up at 38. Now it's 34. So that just tells you right there that who's playing and who's not playing. But if you're going to invest, there's some good dogs that's out there. I kind of like San Francisco at +3.5 against the Raiders on the road. There's another one, Minnesota at Denver. Even though I know Denver, if you're going to play Denver or always play the Broncos first half in preseason, they dominate first halves all the time. So if you're gonna play that one, I'd say play the dog for the whole game. But it's just dogs or pass for me in that one.
I saw something today. I want to get your thoughts on this. It was a dead money chart. The Dolphins have 153, I believe it was $153 million in dead money, dead cap money, which obviously if you're listening and watching, that's money against you're paying players that are no longer there, like Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, so many guys. The next closest was Cleveland, and maybe the Dolphins were more than that, but it was like a $40 or $50 million difference. Miami is bleeding money right now.
I think they're paying Bobby Bonilla. That's how bad they're. That's how bad they are paying money. I saw that stat too, and it's just amazed me. Find the article and just look at the people that they're still playing in Miami. I don't know what's going on in Miami. I mean, even if they're just playing for next year's draft pick, they're still not going to be good next year. Their total season win next year might be the same, 4.5, no matter who they draft. Or I should say 3.5. Now most sportsbooks moved it to 3.5 already because I can't find a fourth win when I look at this Miami Dolphins schedule. So it's going to be a very, very long season and I say 5 years. I think they're way behind everyone else.
No, I agree with you 100%. A couple more minutes here with Rafael Esparza, and of course, he'll tell you where you can follow him. I'm going to give you my lock of the week. Well, let me go ahead and give you my lock of the week. Even though the number is climbing on TCU and UNC, I say get it whenever you can get it. I think TCU blows North Carolina out this weekend.
If you're going to, I've been telling people, if you're going to bet TCU and let's say your sportsbook has 9.5 right now, then they take the first half. I mean, if TCU is going to either score quickly and start running the route early, they're not going to run away in the fourth quarter. It's not like TCU is going to outscore them 21-0 and they cover on the fourth quarter. If it's going to be a route, it's going to be a route from the beginning. So I would say if you miss the fantastic numbers, which you've had, open up at 6, it's 9.5 now. I say just probably take a shot at the first half.
And are you of the opinion of some, and we'll see that this quarterback group in college this year, I saw a slogan the other day, March to Arch, who's going to get Arch Manning number one? You look at the quarterback at Miami, Darian Mensah, you look at Oregon, you look at Ole Miss, that this quarterback group could be the best we've seen in maybe since 2019.
It's hard for me to see best what we've seen until I've seen them play in the NFL. So it's really hard for me, but there's some big names. I would say last named wise, this is probably the best NFL ready quarterback I've seen in a very, very long time. Because some of these last names could be last names we've been hearing slinging the ball in the NFL for a while.
Yeah, and you need to send me that list of the coach's hot seat. Let's talk a little bit about that before I let you go. So you got Mike Norvell number one?
Oh yeah, there's no if answers. I have him, the guy from Maryland, Loxley number 2. I have Dave Ariana from Baylor. Number 3 at 5-1. Bill Belichick 7-1. for North Carolina, and then Luke Finkel from Wisconsin is also 8-1. And then everyone else is 10. I'll send you the list: 10, 40-1. Of course, I have Matt Rule from Nebraska, 50-1.
Yeah, we may have to talk about that on our hit tomorrow on the afternoon show. Where do you have for Mississippi State fans, Jeff Levy? Is he on that list?
Yes, I was hoping you went there because I know Mississippi State watching. He's 20-1 right now, but I think he's safe out through the whole season. There's other quarterbacks or other head coaches I think are going to be in deep waters than him.
Very nice. Hey, before we let you go, and I appreciate you joining us, tell everybody where to get your content.
Yeah, you can find me on X at BSI.sports. You can find me on Instagram at Rafael Esparza.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take it easy. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. Rafael Esparza, make sure to grab his content and get in today. Also play at MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code PATIO. PATIO. Take TCU. TCU. I don't care what this line drives to. TCU is going to curb stomp, and I mean curb stomp. It's going to be bad. Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels this weekend in Dublin, Ireland. It's not going to be pretty. So go ahead and get rich. Use the promo code PATIO and get in today. We'll have Brad Logan coming up here in about, let's see, 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Let me see. Let me make sure to get this screen right and what we're doing here. And I am trying to do this right here. I don't know what this thing is doing. Let's go back over this way. And I don't know why it wants to do this. Let's see. Let me remove that screen. There we go. All right, let's get back into some high school football. If you got questions, put them in the chat. Miko was asking about Levy or Jeff Levy as far as Rafael Esparza said 20-1 odds that he'll be gone next year. And look, I am pulling for Jeff Levy. I am pulling for Mississippi State. I went to Mississippi State. I am a fan. Now I'm a fan of all of college football, but I'm pulling for Jeff Levy. I'm pulling for Kamario Taylor. I'm pulling for the new bring back the block MSU. I love the fact that they brought the block MSU back. So I am pulling for Mississippi State as they get ready to take on Louisiana Monroe coming up here in just a couple weeks. All right, let's jump back into some high school football for the weekend. We talked a little bit about Tupelo Brandon on Friday night. That's going to be a good one in North Mississippi. You got to give the edge to Tupelo right now, just because of the pedigree. They've been able to handle the Dogs the last two times. It will be interesting to see what Brandon does under new offensive coordinator Justin Hunter, also new defensive coordinator as well. This team's got a lot of talent. Tupelo's got a lot of talent. I think it's a four-quarter ball game. You got Oak Grove hosting Starkville coming up this weekend. And, boy, they talk about some players. There's a lot of good dudes on that field that'll be on that field down in the Pine Belt. Brandon Shields picks Oak Grove to win 35-28. Gulfport at Picayune coming up this weekend. And don't forget about a Thursday night ball game coming up tomorrow night. Pearl, the Pirates, shout out to Patrick Schooler, friend of mine and, of course, friend of the program. They take on Madison Central. Another friend of mine, Toby Collins, taking on each other tomorrow night. Thursday night football, high school football. Madison Central takes on Pearl over in Pearl. So that'll be a good one as well. I would have to give the edge slightly to Madison Central. You got Louisville taking on West Point, the classic Golden Triangle matchup. Louisville picked to win 17-14 over West Point by Brandon Shields. Louisville should be the favorite, and they are the favorite. In 4A, you got West Point's one of the favorites in 5A. This should be a really, really good matchup. Petal takes on Hattiesburg, Battle of the Pine Belt. You've got Hattiesburg, who played for the state championship against Warren Central last year in 6A. You've got Petal, that's going to be a competitor there in Region 3 7A under Marcus Bowles. Brandon Shields has Hattiesburg picked to win 31-21. Also, some other matchups here. We'll have Brad Logan here in about 5 minutes. West Jones at Laurel. And this is always a big one in that part of the world. West Jones ranked 21st in Mississippi Gridiron. Brandon Shields has West Jones picked to win 27-17. Noxubee County travels down to Heidelberg. This is going to be a really good matchup. You got two teams that are from two totally different classifications, 3A Noxubee County, 2A Heidelberg. Both teams have represented their classifications over the last couple of years. Shields has Heidelberg winning 26-23. Clarksdale at Cleveland Central in North Mississippi. This, again, will be another good one of teams out of classifications, one from 5A, one from 4A. This should be a good one. Clarksdale picked to win 30-22. East Webster at Choctaw County. Choctaw County picked to win 20-16. Hartfield Academy travels down to Columbia. This is a rematch from last year where Columbia came to Hartfield. Hartfield is 1-0. This will be the Columbia Wildcats' first game. Shields has Columbia picked to win 20-17. So it should be a great high school football. And there's tons of other games we'll get to on the afternoon drive as we move into Friday. Tomorrow's schedule will be on the road at Hines. Hines on the road or at home tomorrow. Their home opener kicks at 6:30. They'll be taking on Itawamba. We'll be on the air from 3 to 5, and then we'll have the pregame show on ESPN 105.9 The Zone coming up at 6 o'clock. Kick starts at 6:30, and then Friday will show be from 3 to 5 in Tupelo. We'll be at Tupelo Stadium. I don't even know the name of that stadium. I should know that. I apologize. We're going to call it Tupelo Field, right? Ride the wave. Blue turf. Can you hear Matthew McConaughey doing that? Yes. Sorry. Yeah. And so we'll be there Friday for that ball game. And then, of course, next week we're there the whole way through. All right, let me get you some more notes here while we wait on Brad Logan. Again, the SEC, along with the Big Ten and Notre Dame, they've said nada to the NFL and the NBA players. Texas Tech has been looking for an additional quarterback. They may have found him with Thomas Castellanos, the former Florida State quarterback, who basically filed a petition against the NCAA, won the petition. He has committed to Texas Tech. Now, that doesn't mean that he'll play next week, but Thomas Castellanos started at Central Florida, went to Boston College, went over to Florida State, ran out of eligibility. Now he will play, it looks like, for Texas Tech. Some other notes here as well. Notre Dame, again, officials have communicated to both the SEC and the Big Ten that the school is aligned with the prohibition and signing of players who have basically taken part or been a part of professional teams. They're not going to bring those teams or those players in as well. Again, Hawaii has a uniform patch. It's the Hawaiian Airlines. As Hawaii, I'll be interested to see. I don't know that Ole Miss and Mississippi State have a uniform patch, but I'm sure that's coming at some point because there's a lot of money to get on those uniform patches. And by the way, I shared this on X at Jake Wim. If you guys want to see a sweet uniform, Colorado State. Colorado State, let me just show you these uniforms. I forget I can actually do this. Let me pull this up real quick and show you the Aggie uniforms that Colorado State is putting out coming up here in just a few weeks. Let me share this real quick. Put that on the screen. Check out that sweet uniform right there from Colorado State. And I'm going to go over here and kind of scroll and let's see. There it is. And you look at this right here, Colorado A&M, back when they were Colorado A&M. And then also, let's see. Did I get all that right? I believe I did. So what a sweet uniform by Colorado State, as this is going to be a uniform worn during the Ag Day barbecue football game versus Southern Utah. That'll be on September 12th. That's between Colorado State and Southern Utah. So that should be a good one. All right, we'll get Brad Logan in here in a bit. We're going to get his takes on Ole Miss, on Mississippi State, and around the SEC, as we're just now a little over a week from kickoff. You've got week 0 ball games. Again, play all your bets at MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag. Get in and play today. Use the promo code PATIO. You'll get a cashback bonus. TCU is the lock of the week. TCU versus North Carolina in Dublin. Take TCU. And we will have WIMS winners back next week. We'll have 7 plays. Well, typically we go 7 plays in college, 3 plays in the National Football League. Next week will be we'll have the NFL games as well. So we'll have the normal slate, 10 picks, all winners. You can take them to the bank. Speaking of taking to the bank, we're going to add in Brad Logan to the conversation. You can take anything he says to the bank. Brad, thank you so much for joining us. And he's trying to get his stuff ready here. And we'll let him jump in here in just a bit and get his takes on everything in college football here in just a bit. Let me go ahead and prompt him on the show. Having a little audio issue there. And Brad, I'm going to let you try to fix that real quick. And we'll get him in here in just a bit. Want to remind you also, make sure to follow the show on X at Jake Wim. I think I hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
All right, we got Brad Logan in with us. And, of course, Brad, tell everybody where they can find you. I know you're all over the place. You guys are punching out a lot of great content.
Yeah, we're at the Talk of Champions on our YouTube page. Obviously on socials at Brad Logan TOC, and pretty much there at the Talk of Champions and the Ole Miss Spirit. That's an affiliate of On3 at omspirit.com. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I had a little technical difficulty there. We're good to go.
No, it happens. All right, Brad, let's jump right to it. SEC, Big Ten, Notre Dame have said nada to NFL players coming back to college. That I don't know how that affects maybe the Louisiana lawsuit or the North Carolina lawsuit, but LSU abstained from the vote today. They're going to die on this hill, man. What an interesting time in football right now.
Yeah, it's funny, Jake. I actually have a little different perspective. The one thing that you and I and Lane Kiff, we all have in common.
What's that?
We all want to win.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Lane's doing. People are saying there that he's making it about him and, all the different excuses. What Lane's trying to do is put the best roster together to win football games. He's not there to build camaraderie in a locker room. He's not there to build players' character and get them ready for the National Football League. He's actually trying to pull them away from the National Football League. But what Lane's trying to do, he's trying to win. And I halfway respect that. Now, he's going above and beyond, and it's funny how we talk about all of these things that are changing in college football. They all kind of are changing because of Lane, because he's trying to circumvent and find loopholes here. And so I'm halfway respecting what he's doing. But obviously we've seen the SEC, and we've also seen the Big Ten, now the ACC, the Big 12. They're all saying, yeah, we're done. We're not interested in any of that. So I expect all of that to kind of be null and void. One interesting thing for me, Jake, is Ben and I were talking about this today. I'm a little surprised that the SEC has kind of fallen in lockstep with the Big Ten as much as they have. In years past, it's always been the SEC and Commissioner Sankey. Now, don't get me wrong. I think what they did today was right. I think the penalties that would be levied down, I think, are important. They're big. I get it. But it feels like they're kind of in lockstep with the Big Ten. I don't know that I ever thought I would ever say that. So I think that Greg Sankey had one decision to make, whether he wanted to or not. The presidents voted today. And we did say that Pete Thamel of ESPN said that it was 16-0, and then, we've got to change. It's 15-0 with one abstaining. We know who that was.
We definitely do. All right, let's get your take. I know we've talked State and Ole Miss, but it's and go around the SEC a little bit while I got you here. We can go a little longer than a traditional radio show on terrestrial radio. So Mississippi State, let's go there first. I do love the fact they brought the block MSU back. I thought that was very, very, very nice. I said it on X. I said the adults are back in charge. I'm happy for Mississippi State with that. Now, on the field, if Brad Logan and Jake Wimberly are sitting here on the 26th day of August 2027, is Jeff Levy still the head coach at Mississippi State?
I think he is. I think there's a good chance that Mississippi State goes bowling this year. I like the schedule a lot. The deal with me, Jake, is I think Mississippi State needs to beat Minnesota. I think if Mississippi State beats Minnesota, there's absolutely a path to 6. I've looked at the schedule and kind of looked at it pretty hard. I like Kamario Taylor a lot. I had a chance to visit with him at SEC Media Day. Kelly Jones, I think he's a really, really good player. We saw Isaac Smith and Chris Lowe today online. So I think there's some really good pieces there. I could make an argument that Mississippi State should have been 8-4 last year, because I think they easily should have beaten Texas. I mean, when you're up 17 with 3 minutes to go, there's no way that you should lose that game. I think now, what's the kicker's name? The left-footed kicker?
Oh, you caught me slipping there.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm looking at him right now, and I know he's been kind of hit or miss, no pun intended, but there's no way in the world that you don't drive it down to about the 25 against Florida and Ferry, Kyle Ferry.
Yep.
There's no world that exists at home where you don't drive it down to about the 25, kick the game-winning field goal and win. And then Tennessee, I think, was a very winnable game for Mississippi State. So, yeah, that's 8-4 right there. And, who knows with the Egg Bowl? And, Ole Miss, Mississippi State always plays Alabama, pretty good. I just really believe that if Jeff can get to 6-6, he can kind of get over the hump. But what he's got to do, he's got to get out of his own way. And I think by having some experience on the staff, mainly Will Arnett, and then the former head coach that's kind of in an analyst role, I think he was at New Mexico State or wherever he was at. I think if he'll just lean into them, I think he calls a really good game. I really do. And I don't think we really can put into words just how bad Cameron Hustler was last year.
No, I agree.
I mean, he was awful with the amount of talent that they had. The defense was putrid. Now with Zach Arnett coming back, I mean, you essentially have an additional head coach. You have a incredibly more talented defensive coordinator. The talent is better. I like Fluff a lot at running back. He's a running back that nobody's talking about. He ran all over Texas until the end of the game. So I think it was Texas, maybe in Florida. It was a big SEC game that I watched, and they couldn't tackle him. And so I like the pieces. I think 6-6, get to a bowl game, get to Music City. I think he's got Mississippi State off and running.
Visit with Brad Logan talking SEC football on a Wednesday. Make sure to give him a follow on X. And, of course, check out he and Ben Garrett's show, Talk of Champions podcast, talking Ole Miss football in the SEC. All right, so Ole Miss. I had Ole Miss at 8-4 in my predictions with a chance to go to 9-3. The more reports, now you're way closer to the program than I am. Defense. Looks like it may be close to 2024. What's the skinny on the because here's the deal. We know Trinidad Chambliss can play. We know Kwan Lacey can play. They're going to be able to run, even though with a different offensive coordinator. I think this offense is going to hum. If this defense is what a lot of people I'm hearing talking to guys we have on our show is or could be, man, Ole Miss could be really good again.
I think Ole Miss is going to be on the field more talented than last year. The bad part about that, Jake, is the schedule is a gauntlet. Mm-hmm. I've got Ole Miss at 9-3 with a combination of some way putting losses from LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, and I'm throwing Auburn in there, and then Texas. I think they can somehow get 9 wins out of all of that. You throw in Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, the Louisville game, which is not a cakewalk by any stretch, and then you've got the Charlotte game, the cakewalk. So, I mean, if anybody says 10-2 and 11-1, I'm like, I just don't know if I can see it right now. And that's saying how talented the offense and the defense is. I think the defense is going to be better than the 24 defense because of how they stack the defense in the back half of the secondary. The linebackers, there's not the depth at linebacker I think that Ole Miss really needs. But when you talk about Luke Farrelly and Keaton Thomas, 2 green dots, 2 guys that are coming in all conference, they're very good. The defensive line's really good. They've got some depth at defensive line. They went to the portal hard there. Not a ton there at linebacker once in. They've got Tony Mitchell from Mississippi State that transferred in, Jacoby Hobson, the true sophomore, I believe, out of Lake Comeron High School. But Tajay Butler, the transfer out of Georgia Tech, he's going to be a big component. Ant Davis, believe it or not, the freshman has had some spurts. So the defense, I think the defense is going to be really good. The problem is the schedule. Offensively, I mean, not a lot of spots to where you just kind of scratch your head. I think they have a really good running back core led by Kwan Lacey. Obviously, you want to keep Trinidad Chambliss upright as much as possible. So they've got the bookend tackles that they're working through. They've got Terez Davis at left tackle, who's earned that spot. And then on the right tackle spot, they wanted Carius Kern, the transfer from LSU. Really just hadn't worked out from a talent standpoint and kind of off the field stuff. So right now, they're really hoping that it's Enoch Wangoy, who's kind of been banged up, but I think Tommy Kinsler, the transfer out of Miami. Really, if that doesn't work, then you start talking about, okay, Connor Howes could possibly come in. Maybe John David Oliver could play right guard. Patrick Kudus could bump to tackle. So you really don't want to have to do that, but there are options that Pete Golding told us both in the spring and Monday that every option is on the table in the offensive line. The good news for Ole Miss is John Garrison does not rotate offensive linemen at all. I mean, he likes to stick with his 5 and have maybe one that rolls in and out. But not a ton of depth there, but the first 5 should be pretty good.
Talking SEC football, Brad Logan, if you just joined us, you can pop a comment in the chat if you want to on Facebook. And, of course, we got the chat open here if you've got questions on SEC football. All right, Alabama. Man, they could not run the ball last year. It was really hard to watch because, Alabama, you and I and everybody that's our age and the last 20 years, Alabama, and even further than 20 years, they've been able to run the football. They could not generate a run game last year. Now, Keelan Russell's going to be the quarterback. We know he's a very talented 5-star guy. They're going to be able to throw the ball. Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, they've put big dynamic passing games out there. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is going to be, or the potential problems, are running game, defense. Where do you kind of have Alabama pegged this year in this pecking order of the SEC?
Well, I'm going to do a terrible thing and ask you a question that I don't know the answer to. The running back out of Meridian, Daniel Hill, is he their number 1 running back or is he injured?
No, if he's injured, I have not seen that report, but he is in that room. They've got a freshman that they believe in. Okay. It's going to be a committee approach again.
Now, did he not have a knee injury maybe a year or so ago?
Yeah, he was banged up.
I know that Ole Miss and State just never could get any traction there. I mean, he was kind of all Alabama. I talked with Drew DeArmond. I know he's a friend of your show. Oh, yeah. We've been on his show in Huntsville. He really likes the team. He he said, I don't know why they're really dragging out Keelan Russell. I mean, he's going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, I think for Alabama, we need to get back to that Alabama football of running the ball, playing good defense, hitting the tight end over the middle, playing that 12 personnel. And I think we might get there. I think the good news for this season for Alabama is their schedule, Jake. It really opens up. It's not as difficult as, say, a State or an Ole Miss, because you get teams like Kentucky on the schedule. I don't know how good Will Stein's going to have his Kentucky team, but you talk about Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Auburn. I'm still not sold on A&M. They've got South Carolina. They've got Mississippi State. And then they've got Georgia. Who knows about Tennessee and LSU? So they've got a lot of the bottom-end talent on the SEC. So to me, I'm all about schedules, because you look back at 23 and 24 for Ole Miss. They were pretty good, but that 24 schedule was just a cakewalk for Ole Miss. And to finish 9-3 is just such an indictment on Lane Kiffin, losing Kentucky and losing to Florida. And then, of course, they lost to LSU, which was a close one. They led all the way until the end. But to me, for Alabama, their schedule sets up perfectly. I have Alabama as a playoff team. I think Alabama's going 10-2 with this schedule. I truly do. I think Russell is a really good quarterback. I think they're going to get back to Alabama football. I like Kane Womack a lot as the team's defensive coordinator. He's gone on record, talked about how difficult Keelan Russell is to take to the ground. They return a couple of offensive linemen. I'm very, very bullish on Alabama this year.
You mentioned Auburn as a ball game that I believe Ole Miss plays Auburn, correct?
Yes, they come to Oxford this year.
Yeah, and they'll come to Starkville as well. That could be a potential L or a tough game. All right, so are you with me? I think Alex Golesh is going to have. I know Hugh Freeze couldn't do it. I know Brian Harsin couldn't do it. Do what? Let's get Auburn back to playing Auburn football. Are we in agreement that we think Alex Golesh could do it?
I really think he's going to do it. The question is how long is it going to take him? I don't know if he can do it in year one. I like his quarterback, Byron Brown, a lot. We saw him at South Florida. I mean, gosh, Jake, I think he's bringing over, 60 South Florida players? I know it's not that many, but it feels like it's a lot. And so my question is how would State, Ole Miss, Alabama compete against South Florida last year? I don't know. I think they would all compete pretty well. This may be a tough year for Auburn. I mean, we take a look at their schedule. They get Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. They do get Arkansas State, Alabama, and then they open with Baylor and then Southern Miss and Florida, and they get Vanderbilt and Tennessee. And who knows about Vanderbilt? Blake. I forget the guy's last name, but they announced him as a starter. Jared Curtis is not going to be the starter, but he's going to play. It feels like that's Clark Lee just doing Clark Lee things. So I don't know about Vanderbilt, how they'll be without Pavia. Auburn last year was 5-7, and Hugh Freeze told Chuck Brownsville, the Ole Miss Spirit, that he said, Chuck, I believe truly if I had played Deuce Knight more, I might still be the coach at Auburn. I mean, wow. I'm no rocket scientist. I know where you graduated from. We both did. We're not the smartest people in the world, but we saw that Deuce Knight was a more talented quarterback than what's the guy? Peyton Thorne, and there's another guy. I mean, it just didn't get it done. And so, I think at the end of the day, Alex Golesh, I was told he is a football coach, and I was told by someone else at Auburn that he is kind of an old school Pat Dye guy, likes to run the football, likes to play good defense, very similar to what I said about Alabama. I think if Auburn can get back to Auburn football, and I know that is so cliche, but if they can get back to winning 6-7 games, they've got the total package. I went down to Auburn for the Ole Miss Auburn Super Regional in baseball and had some long conversations with some folks that I know that are in the athletic department. Let's put it like that. And I said, my gosh, I toured the stadium, Jordan-Hare. They've done all these renovations. It's monstrous. They sell out every game. They've got the eagle. They've got the War Eagle hymn. They've got everything. I was like, my gosh, what is wrong? He's like, Brad, we need to win. We've got everything. We have everything. We just need to win. And so I think they're going to get behind Alex Golesh. I don't know about this year. I don't know about the roster. I do know this. They got a running back, Jeremiah Cobb, that's as good as anybody in the country. He's good. Question is that will they be able to keep him upright? And I do believe, and I don't know what kind of offense. I mean, I think it's going to be more of a spread from what I've seen from Alex Golesh. But if I've got Cobb and Brown in the backfield, I like my chances. I really do.
No, there's no doubt. All right, Lane Kiffin at LSU brings in about 40 players. He's got a quarterback coming over from Arizona State, who I think is a pretty darn good quarterback. We know that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. can coach offense. We saw what he did at Ole Miss, and they're going to be able to score points. What's the ceiling for LSU this year?
10-2 playoff and make a run. I think that's the ceiling. The floor is probably 8-4. Looking at the schedule, you're the perfect person to talk to about this because you do such a good job with analytics. But I'm just a huge schedule guy because I think that just says a lot about a team because I've looked at their schedule, and if they can get out of the first 5 weeks 5-0, they may run the table.
Yeah,
because they've got Clemson, La Tech, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. And then they're going to go to McNeese and Kentucky and Mississippi State and Auburn. So they're probably undefeated until they get to Alabama. And at that point, they're hosting Alabama and Texas. They're on the road at Tennessee and Arkansas. I just talked to everybody watching in here tonight that LSU's going 12-0. But right. I also have a scenario of LSU starting 1-2, maybe 1-3 if A&M comes to Baton Rouge and beats them. And if LSU is 1-3 with that roster, then it's going to be a boo fest. They're not going to show up. I don't think Clemson's going to beat them in the first week. But here's the deal with transfer teams like LSU. With Sam Leavitt not having a snap under his belt inside Tiger Stadium in an LSU uniform, he's got so many moving parts with new running backs with Harlan Berry, Trey'Dez Green, the tight end, I think is super, super talented. Wide receivers, I think Eugene Wilson, Jackson Harris is really good, Winnie Watkins. All those are great players, but they don't have that cohesiveness that they're going to have in October 17th against Mississippi State or October 24th at Auburn. So I think that's something I'm going to be watching. If they can get past the first 5 weeks at 4-1 or 5-0, I think there's a chance they can make a run and maybe do something crazy in the college football playoff. But I think it's imperative to beat Ole Miss. I think the LSU game, the more it goes by, I think it's incredibly important for Lane Kiffin. Because I think he really needs to be able to come to LSU, come to Oxford with LSU and say, see, I told you so. Because if he doesn't do that, it'll live with him for the rest of his life. Whereas I think Ole Miss, you look at their schedule, it is a gauntlet. I could probably talk everybody into the saying that it's just as important for Ole Miss because I had a conversation with somebody from Baton Rouge, and they said if Lane will stay and he doesn't get fired or he doesn't leave, within 3 or 4 years, he'll have a national championship. Because if you look at a guy that ate grass, can win one. A guy that you can't really understand how he talks, he got one. Why can't one of the best college football coaches in the country, I think Lane is, win a national championship? Of course he can. So the question is, and also I was told, if you're going to get LSU, you better get them right now. But the problem, once again, they live off the transfer portal. They live off all of these different players. It's hit or miss. And when he leaves, I don't know when it is, whether it's this year or 10 years from now, he's going to burn it to the ground. And you might as well just smile and understand what you're getting.
No, I agree. I've said that too. I've said that, hey, look, Nick Saban won a national championship there. The guy you referenced eating grass, of course, Les Miles, the grass eater. Ed Orgeron won it. Why Brian Kelly couldn't get it done, I have no idea. Lane Kiffin will probably get it done. Let's do one more SEC question, and then we'll grab a high school question and get you on your way. I know you got a busy day tomorrow, and I appreciate your time today. Who are we missing? I know you said you didn't really like Texas A&M, or you're not high on Texas A&M. Oklahoma, John Mateer. Florida with John Summerall. There's an interesting story there. A lot of the national media seem to like South Carolina, again, as a sleeper. Who are you looking at in the SEC, maybe a Tennessee, to maybe we talk in November and we go, wow, I didn't see them being here, but they're here. Who is that team?
I honestly think it's South Carolina. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think Beamer really likes his team. And I don't know, I just had some conversations in Tampa at SEC Media Day, just reading the tea leaves with Lenore Sellers. And, I think he's a really good player. And if you look at that offense, I think Matt Fuller, I think he's going to be someone that we look up and see he's had a really good year. And, Sellers he's only a junior. It feels like he's been there forever. But I look at South Carolina, and Jake, I want to run you through this schedule. I think there's an opportunity here for South Carolina to do some things here. When you talk about Kent State, Towson, Mississippi State, at Alabama, a team they should have beaten at home last year.
Yep.
Kentucky, at Florida, Tennessee. right there, I could make an argument where they should be looking pretty good. At Oklahoma, I think it's going to be tough for them to win at Oklahoma. Host A&M, they always play them well. At Arkansas, host Georgia, they always play Georgia good. And then at Clemson, we don't know how good Dabo is going to be. I love Carolina's schedule, and I think if they can put some things together in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the schedule, I don't know about Will Klein in Kentucky. I think Florida is going to be really good, but I don't know where Florida is going to be in the 5th week of the season after the start that they're going to have. And they have a brutal back half. So I don't know. If you're asking for a sleeper, they're 4-8 last year. They were 4-8. They were 9-4 in 24 the year before, and then they were 5-7 in 23. I don't like to say make or break. I really don't. But I think this is a super important year for Shane Beamer. I think it's an important year for him. And oddly enough, I think it's a big, big year for Josh Heupel. And I'm not a big start a freshman quarterback guy, and they're starting a freshman quarterback. It could get squirrely really quick on Rocky Top. That's a team I am not buying their stock this year.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on both of those teams. All right, real quickly, I know you do a lot with the Mississippi Association of Coaches, high school football. Officially, what I call week 1 is this weekend. I know the MAIS started last week. That's my week 0. Week -1 was 2 weeks ago. Tupelo hosts Brandon this weekend. Oxford, North Mississippi, we know Calhoun City is going to be good. Kind of give me or give our listeners or our people that's watching kind of a tell of the tape, just 10,000-foot flyover. I think Tupelo Brandon has a chance to be good this weekend. How good is Tupelo? How good is Oxford going to be?
I think Oxford's going to be really good, and I think Coach Cutcliffe really likes his team. The storyline I'm really interested in watching is Grenada and South Panola. You may wonder why I think that, and for people that are watching and may not know, they swap coaches, and so Brooks Oakley goes to Grenada. Michael Fair, who is a fan, people don't know that Michael was a great football player at Mississippi State. He is now at South Panola, who also has, you got it, not Jones. I'm losing my mind, Jake. Who was there at South Panola that won all the championships?
Oh, you're talking about Lance Polk?
No, the guy that left South Panola, won a couple, won some at Ackerman.
Lord, my brain's freezing.
I'll think of it in a minute. It's freezing up. I'm looking at him right now. I can't think of it. So he's back in like kind of an assistant coach capacity. And so I'm excited to see what he can do along with Michael Fair. I think South Panola is going – I'm not going to say they're going to be back, but I do like what they're doing this year, bringing in some of the older guard and kind of getting back to that 90s, 2000s South Panola football. But, yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects up here. You look at small classification football. I'm excited to see what Calhoun City can do, following up that state championship. And, they lost a lot, but even when they lose a lot, it's not the same when other people lose stuff in 1A because they just kind of figure it out. So 2A, I'll be interested to see out of the North who comes out of 2A this year. I'm watching Water Valley. I'm watching Eupora. And then out of the Delta, I mean, you got your normal crews of O'Bannon and, some of those teams out. Simmons obviously is going to be there. They played Calhoun City last year. So I'm excited about the small school classification as well. So I love it. I love it. I've got my first game in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be streaming a game the following week, and then we'll have our high school football coverage, the scoreboard show on WFCA 107.9. And so that's kind of my respite from all this craziness that's college football. And that's why I love coming on y'all's podcast Friday night, whatever you call it. Ricky Woods, by the way, is the name of the coach.
There you go.
I was sitting there just spinning through my mind, and Ricky's going to kill me if he watches this. but y'all's podcast that you and your crew do such a good job. Yeah. I love getting away from college from time to time to talk high school football because it means so much to me, and I know it means a lot to you too.
Absolutely. Brad, tell everybody where to follow you, where to find your shows. I know it's been a long day. I'm going to let you get some rest because I know tomorrow you probably got a long day as well.
Yeah, we have a loaded show tomorrow. But, yeah, I'm just excited about high school football, talking with you guys. But, yeah, the college game is kind of where I live and covering Ole Miss, covering the SEC over at the Talk of Champions. You can follow us on YouTube at Talk of Champions OM. And then, of course, we're at Brad Logan TOC and Ole Miss TOC on X. And then I've got a Facebook page that's monitored, and we post all our stuff there. As my gosh, Jake, it is right around the corner, and I cannot wait. We're excited. We're going to be live in Nashville before the game, and after the game, I can't wait for college football to start.
Perfect. Brad, thank you so much. We'll get you on 105.9 in the coming days as well, right here before Ole Miss and Louisville kick it off. Make sure to give him a follow. He's Brad Logan. Brad, get some rest. Thank you.
Man, look forward to it.
Thanks so much. Brad Logan on the show tonight. It is the Patio Horoscope. As one more time tonight, mybookie.ag. Get in and play. Use the promo code PATIO to get the winner. And the winner lock of the week, Stone Cold Lock, you won't find any money easier than right now, TCU. TCU, that line has moved from 7 to 7.5 to now 9, 9.5. Jump all over it at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code PATIO. Give us a follow on X at Jake Wim. And, of course, follow me on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and Facebook. We're going to sign off for tonight. Remember, ketchup is king. Bacon's a delicacy. Aloha means goodbye. All the good things. Be a man of increase. We have reached a crescendo on a Thursday night. It's been a long day, a labor of love. 2 coaches shows, 2 different radio shows. Tomorrow, radio show in the morning with Mississippi Sports This Morning. Doug Colson will be doing a high school football preview on 106.3 FM at 7:30. And also tomorrow afternoon, the afternoon drive 3 to 5. We'll be at Hines. Hines kicks off at Itawamba. We'll see you there. 6:30 kickoff.